Protect the perimeter!
See to those barricades, and have someone radio the patrols to be on the lookout for stragglers. Some of those bastards got away. I didn't expect another attack so soon. You okay? If this keeps up, we're gonna have to relocate. Come on, help me with this. We're stretched too thin to protect everyone here. Not again.
Get to the waterfront!
That can't be right. This is a distress code. The coordinates for Washington, D.C. How is this possible?
Get down! Everybody get down! Someone has to stay. We can't just leave these people here. Whatever happened, it needs to be fixed or it's all over. You go! I'll do what I can here. Go!
This is Tom Clancy's The Division 2. Ladies, gentlemen, let the show begin. Alright, do you like video games? And I know you do. What about entertainment? We got that too. Video game, I'm not a video game. Video game, oh, what's the name? Video Game Armada. And of course, this is the one true on the gamer Boss Bronze coming back to you with another Let's Review. Yes, I told you I was coming back much sooner than last time, and I hope I really did. I don't know when I'm posting this, but it'll much be sooner if everything plays out right. But anyway, welcome back to Division, people. I did a review on the first game not too long ago, and I enjoyed it for the most part. Though, like most games, well, hopefully not like most games, like a few games that I play, sooner or later you reach the ceiling, you become the Grand Master of the Division, and it's time to retire games and move on to greener pastures. And I did with the Division. I had fun, but up to, I guess, what do they call it? The Deep Freeze DLC where you're running around trying to stay warm. I mean, that was fun, but after that it was starting to get a little samey, so I moved on from the game, and I said, Division was a good experience, I'm probably not going to play the sequel. And I wasn't going to play the sequel, but seeing the E3, trailer slash gameplay demo changed my mind, and I am playing this now. So what do I think about it? Well, before I get to that part, let's talk about the story. Basically, things are still bad. Do you remember the green poison, that one bioengineered super virus that some jerk sprayed all over physical money? So anyone who touched the physical money with their bare hands got violently ill, and it killed off like 90% of America? That green poison? Of course you do, because that was really messed up. And things were pretty wrecked, and there was only one clandestine organization by the government that could help, bring things back to law and order, the Division, until through mild misadventures with various factions in New York City, including my personal favorite, the Cleaners, once garbage men now turned into pyromaniacs that set anyone on fire who even remotely looked like they were ill. Some people of the Division decided to turn traitor, and now one such head traitor now has the green poison virus, and he's gonna do crap to it. But that's not even part of the official story at this point. The official story is that the Division's greatest technology, Shade Tech, is now going crazy. So as you, the all-important player character, must go to Washington to find out why my gadget ain't working. And that's pretty much how the game starts. From there, you explore and beat down new, rebel rousers to your heart's content. And that's pretty much the crux of the Division 2. Same as Division 1, just different reasons why you're doing it. Now, don't let that imply that it's a negative tone in my voice. I am enjoying the Division. I'm trying to play it right now as soon as I get done with this review. So all in all, it's a very good game. So a lot of the elements from the first game do come back in the second game, so there's not much guesswork, thank goodness. You gotta outfit your Division agent with not only the finest knee pads and other, soldier-like accoutrements to keep yourself protected, but also a wide variety of guns, from submachine guns to shotguns to handguns to my personal favorite of, was in the past, but now again, the light machine gun, which give me more bullets because I'm gonna need them. In addition, things come back like the rolly bomb. I forget what it's called, the roller, the bouncy, the pocket turret, a staple for Division agents, and even new things like my new personal favorite, the chem launcher. Hey kids, do you feel kinda ill? Is your armor getting all beat up? Well, use the chem launcher to heal yourself. And hey, you see those guys over there? Their armor looks pretty scary. How are you gonna punch through that with your weak handgun bullets? Well, with the chem launcher, you can acid that up, and it just melts right off their bodies and make them super easy to shoot. Now, don't get me wrong. You can't just unload different loadouts for these gadgets. No, you gotta switch them manually, and even still, the first one's free, as they say. So you gotta keep adding more shade tech, I guess they call it just shade tech. I'm gonna call it shade tech tokens you find on the map of Washington, D.C. to keep upgrading your gears with new functionality. You can select one to start when you unlock it, doing missions, but afterwards you have to keep doing missions, getting leveled up, or finding the shade tokens on the map to unlock new functionality for the gear you just unlocked. It's not much of a pain, but it still is something you need to do, so choose wisely. I'm gonna move on to about that in a second. New to the series is that, like Far Cry New Dawn, humanity is trying to say, you know what, this sucks, we gotta reestablish society and all that. So now, in this game, settlements are a thing. So, in addition to, your homeboys in Washington, D.C. at the White House, you also gotta, help out people who are living on rooftops and, old campuses. And, make sure they're still alive and not dead. In return, they help you out by sending specialists to Washington and help, in which case those specialists will give you new things like new guns or the ability to go into the Dark Zone. Yes, Dark Zone's is back, which is great. And even a barber. Sure, things are dead, everything's horrible, there's a bunch of psychopaths running around, but yeah, I need a specialist barbo for my haircut. Yeah, please. But yeah, those are important. Now, speaking of the psychopaths, let's talk about them for a second. They lack the style and sophistication of your cleaners, but they're not bad to do the job. First, the hyenas, which are kind of similar, well, not kind of, they are very similar to the highwaymen of New Dawn. Now that I think about it, this game and New Dawn are super similar. The hyenas and the highwaymen, even start with an H, okay, go on, are basically the same faction, which are just raiders. They dicks, they want to shoot people and, cause suffering and steal the stuff, so there's them. And you also got the outcasts. Now, the outcasts are green poison carriers, or they carry some sort of weird terminal illness, so they kind of have the pain is life mentality, and they don't mind spreading that kind of pain around. They're sort of like the not quite as cool cleaners faction, because they're big into fire and explosions. Heck, their rusher is nothing but Unibombers, suicide bombers. That's messed up, and it's irritating because you gotta fight those guys, because Before you know it, there's one in your face, and bang, you're dead. And finally, there are the True Sons, which are basically traitor military face guys. They're standard soldiers. They're not bad. They don't stand out. You know, they got military stuff, so, you know, not quite the same thing. I mean, they're like the Last Man Battalion in the first game, just called the True Sons. So, you know, again, they don't really stand out, but they're the things and threats you got to deal with primarily. At this point in time, though, I have not got to the fourth secret faction, which you get after completing the game. And trust me, I've been trying to crank out this game fast enough so I can get to that part, nor have I reached it to a point where I get to the specialist weapons, which I can describe, but I don't have any footage on it this time, because, again, not enough time in the day, and I figured it's getting way too late as is, and quite frankly, like, my reviews are more like wine tastings. I don't need to finish the bottle to tell you what I think about it. But anyway, the Black Tusks, I believe, they're the endgame faction, which are very high-tech, very, you know, intimidating, and they don't go down hard. Well, we'll see about that once I get there. But there's also another weird secret faction. They don't talk, they don't do anything, they don't talk, they don't stand out, and they always seem to show up at night. The only thing I know is their symbol is freaking broken chain, and they kind of look like a combination of preppers and garbage people because they have all sorts of weird garbage on them. Standard robes, lights, soot, dirty as heck. But let me tell you, they come out of nowhere. They're like freaking ninjas. They're so ninja, they throw knives at me. And I don't know what the heck they are, but they will always catch a bullet. But sooner or later, I'm going to find out that mystery. Whether I'm going to speak about it after this review, probably not. But just be aware, people. After a certain event, I believe a certain event, you'll start seeing those guys again. So watch out. They're very sneaky, and they do employ jump scare tactics. So there you go. So on the whole, I do enjoy this game. I'm having fun with it, you know. It's more like Division 1.5 than 2, but they do add new gadgets and new elements and new characters to keep my interest. And of course, you always got to go for that grind for those loots, where it's, you know, a new shirt, new hat. I got a new Ranger hat, and vintage stylish pants. So, you know, that's kind of what I'm doing right now. Running around trying to get my specialty level up to get specialty classes and find the sweet new golden gun of my dreams. But yeah, speaking of specialty classes, once you reach level 30 and or you beat the game, quote unquote, I'm not quite sure, you get to get new stuff. So the new stuff is either a grenade launcher, which if you like blowing things up, there you go, a 50 cal sniper rifle, which I don't care who you are, that's going to put a hole into anything shot. And my pick, a crossbow launcher, which is very interesting. So you got to realize, if they're going to put a low-tech crossbow in this game, you know it's going to do something awesome. And I don't see a lot of people using that, so I'm going to be doing that. Dark Zones come back as well, although they're not as intimidating as the first Dark Zone. You know what? Let me transition to the bads, because if this is going to be a backhanded comment, I might as well let you guys know what we're dealing here. Let's move on to the bads. The Dark Zone. They're back, and it's fine, but it's not as intimidating as it once was. It gives people something to do, like me. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not cruising around to find, you know, people to shoot. But I always enjoyed that fear of being jumped by some guy. Or if someone wanted to shoot someone else, they say, hey, this guy's being a traitor face. Let me go shoot him and be a big hero. But you don't seem to have that. I don't know what's changed. I mean, they give you 3 Dark Zones this time around, which I'm fine with. But in the times I've been in there, I haven't really seen anything much than just wandering high-level enemies, which you spend all your time taking them down. You don't really get much of a reward from them. But maybe that's because I'm still low level at the time of this recording. I'm at level 21, and I'm only just starting to get good stuff. And the footage is even older than that, so, you know, maybe this is like one of those things that I'll have to update. But the point is, for right now, I'm a little underwhelmed by the Dark Zone. There's also a little bit of PvP mechanic too, but I haven't messed around with that as well, only because my tech and gear is substandard. And if I'm gonna lose at my best stuff. And chances are, when I win, I'm going to win because I have my best stuff and I'm still awesome. So I ain't even playing PvP until I get the special elite gear. So I can't really report on that. But there is one thing about this game that irritated me more than anything. Is the fact that at the time of the recording of the footage, not now so much because they patched it up mostly, there was an issue with using the technology. You know, the turrets, the bombs, the chem launchers. Not so much the chem launchers, thank goodness, but all the other stuff. Where as soon as you use it, it would disappear. And it'd be on a short cooldown, but the point is, it would still disappear. So imagine you try to assault a complex, and here comes some big armored mofos. And you said, oh, well, I'll throw out this turret. It will distract it while I sneak up and shotgun them down. And you throw your turret, you get ready to go behind them and shotgun them, then all of a sudden, the turret disappears. They were nowhere near close of breaking that thing, nor was your time up. It was on a 10-second cooldown, which is not the cooldown it has for normal operation. So you kind of say, what the heck? And before you even had the time to finish that sentence, you're dead because the tanks are now drawn to you, since there's no turret to support you behind. And I tested it out with most of the tech, from the shield to the roller bombs to drones. They would always have this glitch. Apparently, there was an issue with the game at the early offset where the abilities would just disappear as soon as you use them. And you could use them again after 10 seconds, but that's not the point. The point is, how are you going to play this game when your abilities aren't working correct? You can say what you say about Anthem. And I've heard you guys out there, there's some straight up Anthem haters out there, but at least their tech works when it comes to combat. I have never had an issue throwing a fireball, ice, mortar, chain gun, none of that stuff, as long as I wasn't incompetent or flying up against some walls. But that's not the point. The point is, I did nothing of the sort with the Division 2, and yet their tech just does not work. That makes the game really hard to play if your stuff don't work. It's like trying to throw a fireball and when you Ryu and nothing happens and you're not trying to throw a fake fireball. Very irritating, and that never happened in the original Division, so I'm not sure what's up with that. But at the point of the time of me recording this voiceover, they seem to have a patch that makes it work. There are still glitches, like in Anthem, and some of the abilities do on occasion still just disappear and give you that 10-second cooldown, so it ain't perfect, but at least it's playable. And at the time, it was very irritating because it wasn't even playable. But anywho, despite my gripings and those early game jitters, and, you know, I always say that games that are ambitious do get a slight pass from me because they are ambitious. This is the sequel to Division, and that game was pretty good combat-wise, and it didn't have any errors as far as I could tell. So I can't really give it quite the pass. I am giving it a pass, but it could have gotten a platinum pass if the combat at the beginning wasn't so trash. But they fixed it. 90% of the time it's fixed. It's still got issues, so it still earns the pass. Most of my other criticisms about it, you know, being the same as the first game, not really being that different or ambitious compared to things like Anthem, or heck, even New Dawn. A New Dawn mixed it up enough. They could have been really lazy and just plopped it like Far Cry 5, then with pink flowers. But no, they really changed up the systems, and I kind of like it. I kind of like it more because it encourages variety, and it's pretty neat. And you get new cast of characters and combat and everything. So there you go. Even though it's short. But Division 2, they shouldn't have these kind of errors because of the first Division. And no real thing that interesting right now, other than the mystery of those sewer night ninjas. The only thing they're keeping me playing this game is the loot and the specialization, so I can really play the PvP mode. I'll probably update this when I get to that point and play some PvP, so I can, you know, just finish this aspect of the game. But enough rambling for me. That's enough for me. It passes. It's a good game. If you enjoyed the first game like me, you'll enjoy this too. There are still some glitches. It's still the gadget abilities do on occasion still fade off into the ether for some reason, but it doesn't take too long. Just don't do it when it's something extremely critical. Or rather, be aware when you're about to unleash your tech abilities on something critical, because it could critically fail. But that's all I got to say about that. So, until next time, this is One Trauma Gamer Boss Bonds telling you to stay tuned for the latest video game Armada transmission. And I am glad to be done with these reviews. They have been in a holding pattern for too long. So I can't wait to get back on track with new constant content. But until then, folks, take care.